The book of Psalms, chapter 80, verse 3. Turn us again, O God, and cause thy face to shine, and we shall be saved. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahawah, Bahashem Yawashi, Bahashem Rakah Quadash. That's Paleo Hebrew for Yahawah, or God, who the world normally calls God, coming in the name Bahashem Yawashi, which is who the world normally calls Jesus Christ. Alright, there's no God beside them. They are coming to deliver us from this hell. And the us is the hopeful elect, the chosen to be delivered from the destruction that will surely come. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for being faithful witnesses to the Holy Spirit, and salutations to the elect whom the Lord have given ears to hear. So in our journey to turning back to the Lord, that brings persecution. In that persecution, or the aftermath of that persecution, however the Lord plays it out, he gets glorified. Right? And this thing is about the magnification of the name of Yahawah Ba'ashim Yahawashi. Now it says, turn us again. What happens when we turn to the Lord? This is the book of Isaiah chapter 1. Verse 16. Wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings. From before my eyes, cease to do evil. Stop committing adultery. Stop committing murder. Stop serving these false gods. Stop eating abominations such as pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, shellfish of any kind. Stop doing things contrary to the Bible. Stop loving your oppressor. Stop hating your brother. Come now and let us reason together, saith Yahawah. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. But if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of Yahawah hath spoken it. And time again, as our people were rebellious, we were left few in number among the nations, as is written of in Deuteronomy 28 and 15 on down. And it would happen time and time and harshly, to where the Lord would eventually raise up a prophet to tell our people their transgressions and what they can do to get out of that situation. That's where we come in, right? And then once they do that and they call upon the Lord, he can save them. So we go back to Psalms 80. It says, turn us again, O God, and cause thy face to shine. And the face of Yahawah is Yahawashi. As a matter of fact, Yahawashi even said, those that have seen me have seen the Father. Right? And we know that the Lord comes in the spirit where he physically came. Don't get it twisted. But now he's spiritually here. All right? Through the volume of the book, through the proper understanding of the scriptures. And cause thy face to shine, and we shall be saved. And through the elect getting this word in their inward parts, that's ultimately going to lead to their salvation. All right? And in between that, us turning to the Lord and being saved, there's a point of persecution. Let's grab that. This is Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept, when you go into that word kept, it means to attend to carefully, to guard. Right? But to guard something, right, you have to have already let me just keep reading. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, because thou hast guarded the word of my patience. All right? And to keep something, that means that you have to have received it. All right? The word of the Lord, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. All right? You stuck to the promises that was written. Right? Because the Lord will deliver us. The Lord will deliver us. If you're of the elect, the Lord will deliver you. And in between you receiving this word and deliverance, as we're getting into, there is persecution in between that. I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. Now the hour of temptation, essentially, as we go into it, it says the trial of man's infidelity, integrity, virtuous, and constancy. Right? And then when you go into the origin of that word pirai, was it parazo? Pirasmos, right? The origin of that is parazo. Then the origin of that one, it says to try whether a thing can be done, to attempt or endeavor. All right? And the origin of that is pyra, again, pretty much going into a trial or a piercing. And we know that piercing, those that's not of the Lord's elect, those that are not written in the book of life, like it says in Revelation 13, will receive that piercing, otherwise known as an MOTB. All right, which today is the mark of the beast. I'm sorry, which today is an RFID chip. So that's coming. And those that overcome, right, they're going to be magnified. And not just them, but their God is going to be magnified too. All right? The God of Israel will be magnified. Now we go into the scriptures. Men of the Lord tells us that in Hebrews 11, some will be beheaded, sawn asunder. Okay? So that's just a rite of passage. And what we see now is, brothers doing lessons on the ISUPK, which those guys are bought and paid for. Because why every time at the time of persecution, these guys get the spotlight? And every time they go up on, they was on that Vice episode, America's Most Hate Groups or something like that. And they always puts a narrative of black and white, pretty much staying carnal and not spiritual, which is Esau's realm, the so-called white man. And for the majority that don't know what this thing is about, they'll take that and run with it that's the teaching of all of Israel. Right? The black and white narrative, the black and white narrative, the radical narrative as far as them, toting guns and antagonizing everybody that walks past. Right? But let me grab this. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 3. Daniel, chapter 3. In verse 20. It says, then was the Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. Salakia. Verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, which is their slave names, right? But the actual names was Azariah, Ananias, and Misael. So it says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this manner. If it be so, right, because the account was that they should pretty much worship the king Nebuchadnezzar at the time as a god over their own power, right? And countless times in the scriptures you'll read that there was a form of New World Order in the sense of that particular king setting up his rulership over all kingdoms of the earth at the time. And normally he would set up a decree, that every person would leave their gods and serve this one particular king. All right, and you'll find that countless times again in the book of Daniel's, in the book of Maccabees. But certain men were written, as even Yahawashi said, no man should be able to pluck them out of my hand. All right, the elect will not vow. The elect will not vote. That's the spirit. The elect will not vote, which when you go into that word vote, it's in the Latin votus, which meaning to vow. Right? They will not vow, or they will not declare their allegiance to anyone other than Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. So it says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this manner. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thee. We will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You see, so essentially, he had mercy upon these men, but it was changed to fury when they pretty much rubbed it in their face that they not going to serve him. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. So the judgment that these devils are going to try to bring upon the prophets, the men of the Lord, is going to be worse than any others, right? To prove a point. Remember, according to the book of 2 Ezra 16, it says, a burning wrath shall be kindled over you. For behold, this is 2 Ezra 16 and 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. What's that? Let's see. And they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. They that consent to them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Right? And they're going to use us or they're going to paint a bad light upon us, right? To where they're going to push to the masses that bad times and attacks, however they may come, was because of those damn Israelites, which they call as BHIs, which that's not the case. But anyway, it says, there was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coat, their hosen, their hats, their garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound in the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake and said unto his counselors, did not we cast these 3 men bound in the midst of the fire? Then answered and said unto the king, true, O king. He answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And at verse 23, where it says they fell down, not because of smoke inhalation or anything like that, that means that they prayed to the Lord Yahawah Ba'ashem Yawashi. As a matter of fact, we go into the prayer of Azariah. Okay, it doesn't say it here. Right, but in the Apocrypha, if I'm not mistaken, it should tell you that the prayer of Azariah is within that portion of the Daniel's 3. It says, man, this is a beautiful chapter, man. So, in the midst of them falling down and praying, this was the prayer they pretty much said to the Lord. So, prayer of Azariah 1:19. Put us not to shame, but deal with us after thy loving kindness, and according to the multitude of thy mercies. Deliver us also according to thy marvelous works, and give glory to thy name, O Lord, and let all them that do thy servants hurt be ashamed. All right, and I want you brothers to keep that in mind, that the works of the Lord are marvelous or wonderful. All right, and that word marvelous, going into, let's see. Right, so you see magnification is to amplify, overestimate, exaggerate. The action or process of magnifying something or being magnified, especially visually. And then when you go into the word, what's the word? Yeah, wondrous. It says, inspiring a feeling of wonder or delight. Ooh, extraordinary. That is to be marveled at. extraordinary, going beyond what is usual, regular, or customary. Right? So extraordinary power will be shown for extraordinary circumstances. But that's for those who have extraordinary faith. You know? It says, deliver us according to thy marvelous works, and give glory to thy name, O Lord, and let all them that do thy servants hurt be ashamed, and let them be confounded in all their power and might, and let their strength be broken. And let them know that thou art God, the only God, and glorious over the whole world. And the king's servant that put them in ceased not to make the oven hot. Well, you know what? Let's go back now. So it says, then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, this is back at Daniel 3:26, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then I want to say it in the Hebrew, all right? The Azariah, Ananias, and Mishael came forth out of the midst of the fire, and the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. So look at that, man. You know, I mean, right now, brothers are in some extraordinary situations, but that's nothing compared to what's to come. Remember, the scriptures say that there's a time that's coming that was never before seen upon the earth. So the Lord is going to have to bring acts on his part that was never before seen on the earth. All right? Or in this case, that was forgotten about. Right? Because remember, the scriptures are written aforetime, were written for our learning, that we through faith and patience might have hope. You know? Yeah, you hate the situation you in, but shit, man, the Lord don't make mistakes. And according to Romans 8, what's that, Romans 8? Where it speaks on how Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. I want to see what the NLT says on that. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. That word good, meaning good constitution and nature, useful, pleasant, agreeable, joyful or happy, excellent, distinguished. Right? So everything works for the Most High for good. All right? Oh, distinguished or famous. You see? So the works of the Lord essentially makes the men of the Lord famous. It says, therefore I make a decree. It says that they might not serve nor worship. It says, Salakia, verse 28. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's words and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any God except their own God. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which spake anything amiss against the God of Ananias, Azariah, and Misael, shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. So when we extrapolate, he had to do this to other people, and their God didn't save them out of that situation. But it was different with us. You see, in his pride, he did that, but then he was humble in the works of Yahawah Yawashi. Okay? And it happened countless times before. You know, think about the time of Esther, when you had the wicked Haman that thought to destroy Israel. But what happened to him? He was destroyed, and his lineage. Right? And his sons. Daniel 6, which real quick, let me see something. You know, and that's why it's important to read these scriptures, man. It's very important to read these scriptures. You know, because that persecution is coming. If you think in the flesh, you're going to get nervous and scared. You know, but the Lord is going to make a way. Yahawah Yawashi is going to hold it down. It says, okay, I thought it was another precept in here. Hold up. Prayer of Azariah 66, or Ananias, Azarias, and Misael. Let me start at 65. 64. O ye spirits and souls of the righteous, bless ye Yahawah, praise and exalt him above all forever. O ye spirits and souls of the righteous. Okay, verse 65. O ye humble, O ye holy and humble men of heart, bless ye Yahawah, bless ye the Lord, and praise and exalt him above all forever. O Ananias, Azariah, and Misael, bless ye Yahawah, praise and exalt him above all forever. For he hath delivered us from hell. Oh shit. So this cuts that hell doctrine. Right? They were in a hellish situation. Alright? Let your house be on fire and you stuck in there. You in hell too. You're not underground somewhere. Nah, you in a bad situation. And save us from the hand of death, and deliver us out of the midst of the furnace and burning flame, even out of the midst of the fire that he delivered us. Have he delivered us? All right. And essentially the elect is going to be, and like it says in Revelation 15, pretty much singing a song of Moses, how the Lord delivered them from this very hot nuclear missile fire. O all ye that worship the Lord, bless the Lord of gods, bless the God of gods, praise him and give him thanks, for his mercy endureth forever. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 37. And that's just one of many, man. Daniel 6, you brothers can read up on. You know, read the Maccabees. Bell and the Dragon. Psalms 37. And 38. Let me start at 30. 28. I always bring this out, but I'm not going to stop because this is a beautiful precept. It says, the Lord loveth judgment. Remember, Yahawah loveth judgment. Right? And this is the word of the Lord's patience. So yes, though the Lord loves judgment, we still have to be patient, waiting for the judgment to come. And forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. The righteous shall inherit the land, and dwell therein forever. The mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talketh of judgment. The law of his God is in his heart, none of his steps shall slide. The wicked watcheth the righteous, and seeketh to slay him. Right? And it's about prophecy, focusing on prophecy, because, you know, the events that the wicked wish to bring upon the righteous doesn't hold a candle to a flame to the prophecies that the Lord has for the wicked and for the righteous. All right. Remember, the Lord said he's going to, this deliverance will be as the same as Egypt. And we know how the Lord, you know, separated us from them. You know, read Exodus 14, where the Lord separated Israel from a huge, you know, from a great army. One got swallowed up, and might I add, you had a chariot, you know, that landed between us and them, and one got delivered. And again, in the aftermath, Yawashi was exalted amongst the nations. It says, and pretty much the reason for them being persecuted is because they begin to follow the Lord. Wait on the Lord and keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it. Okay? Revelation 15, you're going to look down, like it says, as it were, through a sea of glass, in that lake of fire. You're going to see it. Even prior to, scripture saying in Psalm 91, because thou hast set thy heart upon my name, thou hast loved my name. You know, then it goes into how 1,000 shall fall at thy side, but none evil shall touch thee. Right? It's going to be like a spiritual force field where you watching everybody get effed up. Jump down to verse 38. But the transgressors shall be destroyed. Together the end of the wicked shall be cut off. But the salvation of the righteous is of the Lord. He is their strength in the time of trouble. I want to check out that word strength. I think, what's that? Psalms 37 and 38. It says place of means of safety. It says like my ice, protection, stronghold, fastness. And the Lord shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them, because they trust in him. So with that, shalom to the elect.